If you're a normal person, you've probably found this year pretty stressful, and you may have even tried to alleviate that stress by trying out meditation or mindfulness. But no matter how many times you tried to tune in with your breath, you found no benefit to this life-altering activity. But what if there was a very simple alternative to meditation and mindfulness, something that requires basically no effort and still has all of the same benefits? Well, there is one, something called Niksen, and this video will detail how this Dutch concept could be the best answer to the "how do I de-stress" question. So what is Niksen? Niksen is a Dutch concept that basically means doing nothing. It's basically giving yourself permission to daydream. Lie down on the couch and stare at the ceiling, or watch the world go by from your window for a few minutes. Okay, so why can it be helpful for de-stressing? Well, firstly, the interesting thing is that this is much harder than it actually seems. We live in a world of constant connection, distractions, and a compulsion to always be actively engaged with something. Sitting with your own thoughts for more than a minute without reaching for your phone is something most of us would find extremely difficult. A lot of us are stressed because we're always on. We're not giving our brains the mental breather it needs, and because of this, that's why we're seeing the obscene levels of stress and burnout year after year. And the problem with other tools for de-stressing like meditation and mindfulness is that they actually still require a lot of activity and engagement. We have to actively try to remain present, actively engage in rhythmic breathing, and this for some of us can be more stress-inducing than stress-reducing. I'm not saying these aren't incredibly useful techniques, the science is there to prove that, but I don't think they're necessarily right for every single person. I feel a lot of us just aren't wired to engage with those types of practices, and that's completely fine. If you fall into that bracket, then Niksen might be a better alternative for you, because it's passive. It requires you to just sit and do nothing. Let your mind jump from thing to thing. Those split-second thoughts of what you ate for lunch, a random school friend's face popping up in your mind, a passing song lyric, and so on. This mind racing appears not useful at first, but it allows you to weirdly race away from the stresses, hassles, and productive blocks that you're experiencing. You also end up feeling guilty for not doing something, and that's a signal of exactly what's wrong with us right now. That a lot of us force meditation or mindfulness onto ourselves because in a weird way they actually feel productive by doing them. But Niksen is a necessary thing when it comes to giving yourself permission to just sit with your thoughts, no matter how random they are. It's fine to occupy your mind with bizarre passing thoughts instead of aiming to gain a clear and completely empty mind. And even after just 5 minutes of a Niksen, you'll find that you actually do feel refreshed, that you've been able to detach from the digital onslaught that most of our lives are now. Now, the key is not to do this for long periods of time. Anything over 10 minutes is obviously going to lead to you ruminating and worrying about all the problems that are ongoing in your life. Instead, just aim for 5 minutes so you can just completely detach for a moment and give yourself a little mental breather, because it's something that we all need in these times in which we're constantly plugged in. So give Niksen a go. Take 5 minutes to yourself right now and put it to practice and see how you feel. And I'm not going to make this video any longer than it needs to be, but I just want you to take away one key message, and that it's often the case that the best thing that we can do for ourselves is absolutely nothing.